Okay, we're recording.
Hey guys, this is Rocko Steady Narvios all the way here in Houston, Texas. I hope everyone's having a grateful day, G-R-E-A-T, full day, and I hope everyone's having the best day of your life because today's the best day of our lives. Say it, mean it, feel it, believe it, receive it, then release it. Let's bring heaven to earth. Today I am here with the wonderful Jenna, a.k.a. the Swan Mama. Woo! And this is a very special guest that we are interviewing today because she has not only impacted thousands of lives around the world, but she's impacted my own personal life. So it's an honor and a privilege to have you here today, this morning, to interview you about the impact that you provide, not only a giant institution named Weevo that is adding a lot of value to people around the world, but also to millennials like myself in conquering their fears and peeling back the layers that really get in the way of our success. So thank you so much, Jenna. You want to go ahead and say what's up to our audience?
Hello, everybody. My name is Jenna. You can on Facebook, you can find me as Jenna Rose. I'm so grateful to be here with Rocko today. We've been talking about this for quite a while and doing this interview through the process of your book. I've been kind of incognito and hiding in the background, and now it's time for me to show my face. And
Right. Well, it definitely takes teamwork to make a dream work. For most of y'all out there that know, I just recently released a book called Rescue Your Gift. And through the process of rescuing my gift, I had to peel back a lot of layers as an entrepreneur. There are many things that held me back, and there's continuously going to be things that show up in my life. And I would encourage each and every single one of y'all to find somebody in your life that would serve as a mentor, somebody that you can contact as you go through the struggles in life and you encounter these roadblocks, so that way you can calibrate yourself in the proper manner. So that way, A, you don't make any rash decisions, you don't overreact. Instead, you learn how to respond and utilize the right resources and tools to ground yourself and really face those fears and release them so those lessons can be learned. So, Jenna, let's talk first and foremost about the millennials. Okay, so how do you feel the millennials are today, and what is the major challenge that millennials are facing?
well, the interesting thing is I mean, I've been mentoring who are now called millennials for 17 years. Now there's a buzzword around it. I've been mentoring people, young adults between the ages of 18 and 30 for about 17 years now. And what I find with the millennials that are showing up today is, like yourself, Rocko, you have innate, powerful abilities that have been oppressed in your upbringing of, oh no, shh, you do not act that way, huh? You have to conform, you have to hide, you have to blend in, huh? Excuse me for using my Filipino accent. It's just...
It's okay, anak, it's okay.
Anako, it's okay. But what I find is many millennials, they have really, really powerful abilities, and they have a wisdom and a knowing that isn't justified by the school system. It's just because they just know. Mind you, I have 3 millennials of my own that I have given birth to that are my children. They're 26, 21, and 23. I have 2 sons and a daughter. And so I'm not only speaking from theory, I've raised 3 myself. And what I'm finding is there's intuitive abilities that are there that aren't being tapped into to that knowing. You have an ability to shift and to grow and to take concepts and really address them when you're done with the superficial way of doing things, following the masses. When you know that, like you with your message as a hip-hop artist, you've been doing gift wrapping for how long now?
Oh, since I was 9 years old, so for over 20 years, like 19 years, yeah.
Exactly. And what I find is the millennials who I attract are the ones that they're doing something different and they stand out. I feel like the millennials of now, you guys are a future, and you guys are starting to have babies. And, you know, if what I find is when I assist each one of you to hold your power and honor your power through the processes of what I do, then you guys can share your message, like what you've done from going from a hip hop artist to now you're a published author, and you know the gigs that you're doing, and the TV shows that you've been on, and the radio interviews, and you know the ripple effect that it does.
Beautiful. So I myself have experienced the power of peeling back and showing up authentically and unapologetically bold and vulnerable. How important is it for a business owner to be able to step into that space of vulnerability and authenticity by utilizing services and the value that you add? Excuse me, there's dogs going crazy over here.
Hi, doggies. That's a great question. You know, I find that many people are taught that vulnerability is weak. It's not okay to tell people that you've fallen or you failed or you're struggling. And when we welcome vulnerability, there's a power in it, because then we can seek the power of tribe. We can seek the power of those who have what we want and their wisdom. I did a Facebook Live video yesterday on a hike about entrepreneurship.
Are you hiking with the cactus?
Exactly, and you know, it's recognizing where we are and where we're at and knowing where we're going. And sometimes we get lost. And if you're lost, it only makes sense to pause and ask someone for help, right? Yeah, and it shows up in a lot of different areas of our life, because it's not just being an entrepreneur. The way that we do anything is the way we do everything, and it causes ripple effects. It'll show up in every aspect of our life.
Mm-hmm. I definitely relate to that 100%. The way that I make my bed, the way that I brush my teeth is the way that I have a relationship with somebody. And it's so interesting to be aware and cognizant of that. So from a business perspective, what are some of the key factors that you would recommend to somebody that might be encountering roadblocks? How would you encourage them to, somebody who hasn't been vulnerable in a very long time, somebody who hasn't been able to step into their space of truth? What is the very first thing that you would encourage them to do so that way they can become open? Open them up a little bit.
Let me turn that around for you, Rocko. Let me ask you, what was your experience when you were up-leveling yourself, or what did you go through when you were working with me? And let's be truthful about the emotions that come up, and the stuff that the rough stuff that most people don't talk about, that it's in your book. It's in the book, but at the same time, you know, people don't know, you know, in the quiet hours of the night, the tears that we shed.
Well, one thing that I realize is that we all go through something. Yeah. And a lot of times we hide. We hide from our emotions. We run away from our emotions. We numb our emotions. And this is the very thing that keeps us imprisoned in the same spot for years and years to come. So from my experience, you allowed a safe space. You provided a space for me to be okay with going through the discomfort of allowing myself to actually face my fears. And not only face my fears, but instead of fighting them, fighting the fears, insecurities, and doubts, I didn't fight them. Instead, I decided to approach it on a level of love and embrace them and ask, why is this showing up? Discover and uncover the truth behind the root cause of what happened, and then release them accordingly because it no longer served me. And by allowing the space for me to be able to do that, it's not like the way you do something is the way you do everything. So now uncovering and unraveling certain elements of my life that I had hid from and numbed for such a long time, I now go through that same process when I do other things. And now, just like I did this morning, I'm like, yo, Jenna, I'm going through this specific fear about relationships. I'm going to contact Jenna, and I'm going to lean on her because I know that she's going to provide that space for me. But I had already gone through the process that you had already taught me, which allowed me to do a lot of the work prior to meeting with you, which already had me prepared, already intake and take into action what I needed to do in order to gain substantial results. So that's the process. It's, why am I feeling this? Okay, what is that feeling? Where is it coming from? How does it feel? Okay. Let's feel it. Let's sit it down. Let's ask it some questions. Let's acknowledge its presence. and then kindly ask it to leave because it no longer serves.
You're fired. That's beautiful. You know, the one thing that I realized when we started this interview is people don't know my background. I mentioned a little bit of it, that I've been mentoring millennials for 17 years. I am an internationally certified author and speaker. Some of my mentors are, and my certification is from Bob Proctor, Les Brown, Brian Tracy, Marie Diamond, and many more. I met you through our elite invite-only success club, and I've had powerful, would you say powerful, innate, intuitive healing abilities and energetic cleansing abilities and distance healings? Would that be?
Oh yeah, that's more than fair. That's more than fair.
And so as Rocko, as you're speaking of this, the people that are watching, I just want to make sure that this is not just a verbal process, that there is energy work that is being done to assist you in cleaning the, how do I say, as Esther Hicks says, cleaning the vortex, and allowing you to have a new vessel that's not full of old gunk.
Yes.
Yeah, and so what you speak of is part of the process of what we do, and it's specific to each one. What I do with you, I don't do with some of my other Swan babies. A lot of the work is similar, but very different because it's based on you and where you are and what you need. Some of the things that I find that entrepreneurs where they have are blocks is it shows up as addictions to food or sex or a person or a TV show or a video game, cell phones, Twitter. It shows up as a lot of different things. And so we look at the root of that and look at what's underneath it.
Beautiful. Beautiful. So with that being said, Ati, let's dive into the energy. Okay, so I definitely understand the energy. What would you say to somebody who is not accustomed or used to the process of energy clearing, or somebody that might be curious out there that's never embarked on that journey? How would you describe to them the experience and what they should expect?
The best thing that I can say is when you give me permission to look inside you, because who I am is I assist you in remembering who you are and your greatness so you can shine. And you're a perfect example of that, Rocko. And, you know, I was sharing with you on our phone call before this interview that, you know, I shed tears and I was saying, look at what you're doing now, baby.
Yeah.
And I'm still crying.
And I'm eternally grateful.
And so for some people that they're not familiar with the energy work, it's just giving me permission to look into your field, have a conversation. I think you use the analogy, I don't want to put myself in comparison to anybody, but you compared me, the way that I receive information is very much like what Esther Hicks does with Abraham, yeah?
Yes.
And so in that I receive information and the root of what's standing in your way. And then I can work with you. And if you give me permission to work with you and to give you direction and address the things, then there's a sense of lightness, there's a sense of ease, there's a sense of clarity that happens. And for some people, it's the things that have been showing up in their life in minute little ways that are showing up as, excuse my terminology, a can of whoop ass. Because when I show up, that tells me that you've been getting this message for a long time and you've not been hearing it. You're being called. And so know that on the other side of that, of the peeling back the layers and the vulnerability, there's the wins, there's the celebration, and just know that where you want to go, where you're heading. And right now, this is just the journey. And every time that you feel like you're a little bumpy or you've fallen in a pothole, I've got energetic Band-Aids, and, you know, I've got a whole tribe of other Swan babies, millennials, that are here to support and serve you.
Right. Just for our audience out there, I just want to let everybody know what has happened since doing work with the Swan Mama Jenna here. I've written a book. I finished the book in under 90 days, which was 48 days. I've emptied my cup, which I was able to actually share my fears, insecurities, and doubts with the world unapologetically and boldly, which has showed up in many other ways, which has given me the most confidence that I've ever had in my life. My self-image has tremendously improved. I now constantly feel like I'm beautiful and a sexy man. Hey.
Hey, that's my baby.
I've attracted love into my life. I'm currently in a relationship. Not only that, but it's attracted many different relationships, which has prepared me and given me the right proper perspective and mindset to understand why and when these specific things were happening to me, to teach me specific lessons. And I had such clarity throughout it. So it's definitely shown up in many ways. I've been featured in over 8 different news channels to do interviews. I performed recently for Super Bowl events, 8 different Super Bowl events, and in front of millions of people over the weekend.
I cried when I saw that, Rocko. I was like, look at my baby go.
So there's been many things, and the main thing that I would like to share with the audience is I've gained a level of peace and balance and rootedness that has given me even more clarity of the direction that I'm going in life. And for any entrepreneurs out there or anyone with a career, somebody searching for love, I would definitely recommend Jenna to work with, because it really provides you a space of energy, a space of love, and a space where you can really face your fears and overcome and really create the best life possible. So with that being said, Jenna, what other testimonials have you gained from other people, from your other Swan babies? Can you give us some examples of other things, miraculous things that have happened from working from you?
Okay, I'm gonna cry. I've had one woman, she came to me and she was raised in a very fundamental Christian background, and she had intuitive abilities, and she had experienced anxiety, like severe panic attack anxiety all of her life. And I worked with her and I told her, I said, recognize that you chose these parents. And we did some energetic processes, and I helped her recognize where the root of it was. And she's never been able to fly, and she's always stayed in jobs that don't serve her. I ran into her 6 months later, and I said, oh my God, how are you doing? You look fantastic. And she said, I live in Costa Rica and the Dominican Republic now.
Wow.
It was the first time that she'd ever been able to fly, to literally spread her wings and explore the world, because she felt so bound because of what she was taught and she was told. And I helped her realize that those weren't her ideas that she was living by. And to honor herself and love her family, but the higher vibration of love, because sometimes it's her family that they mean they mean the best. But sometimes they're part of our journey and our process to help us remember how to rise. And so she's got freedom and liberation. I have 2 Swan babies that are no longer Swan babies because they've moved on in their lives. They're twins. And when I met one, she was in a teaching job in the music industry and was having a really hard time with that. And then her twin sister was working a telecommuting job in computers. Now the one that was in computers works as a healer, and she tours all over the West Coast. She lives in Portland. And the other one is a very well-renowned jazz singer in the San Francisco Bay Area. And she tours, and through her music, she spreads her message, much like what you do with her lyrics of, don't let people get you down, and your truth is your truth, no matter what anyone else says. I've had Swan babies who have faced addiction, who have been through the ringer and back, and now he has turned the roles. You've met him, and he's on our Facebook page. And now he mentors me every now and then, and he's he's mentoring others, and he's helping people get out of the gulches of you know, they're distraught and, you know, facing adversity. And yeah, there's so many that are around the world. I've lost track of many of them, but they show up. That when something's coming up, like with you, when something comes up, they find me and they go, Swan Mama, could we talk? And I guide them and I coach them, and I do the energetic processes to assist them in liberation of whatever it is that stands in the way, so they can cultivate their purpose and really shine and be seen and make their global impact the way that feels right and makes their heart sing.
Beautiful. Speaking of heart singing, you know, there's the worst tragedy in the world is a heart that never sang to sing. Beautiful testimonies, beautiful results. I wanted to ask you, from your service and the value that you add, talk a little bit about Weevo and how people can be involved with that community, and how how they can become involved with you through that community.
So what Weevo Global is Huffington Post has called us the evolution of social networking. Brett Labbitt is the founder, and his sweetie is Chief Happiness Officer, and I'm also on the team. We are a members support members for business, conscious collaborative community where we build responsible Weevo tribes all over the globe. We are all over the United States. We're in Puerto Rico. We're in Germany, Macedonia, Ontario, Canada, and it keeps spreading. And what I love about that is it's bringing the consciousness to business to where there is no competition. We have agreements that, you know, when we link arms, then we have a larger customer base, a larger database. We're all in supportive tribe. To have a deeper, better understanding, go to jennafrancia.com. It's JENAFRANCIA. There's a video on there that has the life and progression of business that can help you understand that. We are in launch phase. This is phase 2, so there's still work to be done on the website. And at the same time, imagine what we're building is it's all the great things of LinkedIn and Facebook, and with consciousness in a collaborative community. It's been a wonderful thing. We have micro communities here in Sedona, Arizona, where I am. We have them in San Francisco Bay Area. And when we get together on a regional events, everybody seems to know everybody. And then on a global event, it's even bigger than that. And we have mastermind. So we have global thought leaders from all over the world to help assist and support you. Because some of you don't have the ability to put $3,000 down for a mentor for 90 days. However, you can afford a monthly membership. And so in that, you can connect in our Weevo Academy and assist yourself with your own personal growth on a self-paced level. And the fun thing is Weevo is targeted towards millennials. And so as you progress in your life and your business and you pass the quizzes, there's little DNA things that light up for you. So you get those wins. And it's pretty brilliant what Brett has created. And I'm so blessed to be part of the tribe. And as entrepreneurs, it makes sense for us to link together this way, to be supportive, because in the noise of the other social media, no judgment, no separation, no wrongness, no conclusions about that. But what I find for sustainability of business on the long scale of progression, right now it may be working for you, but what do we do when it's so noisy that we just get lost in the crowd? And that's what Weevo does, is we don't get lost in the crowd. We link arms, we all know each other, we have very strong quality relationships. Beautiful,
beautiful. All right, Jenna, so to wrap things up, how can people get in contact with you? And what is the process of linking up with you so that way you can do some work?
I feel like the best way to contact me is through my Facebook page. They can friend me through you, but I really, really request, because I have so many people that I have conversations with on a regular basis, please message me personal message me through Messenger, address me as Swan Mama, and you met me through Rocko in this interview. Or you can email me at Jenna, Jena, at weevoglobal.com. WeevoGlobal.com. It's Jenna at weevoglobal.com. And thank you, Rocko, for taking time out of your morning and sharing your gift.
My pleasure.
And allowing me to share this.
You're a beautiful gift, and anything for you, I'm here to serve. You've done tremendous work with me, and the results are priceless. So thank you, and cheers to anybody who is fortunate enough to work with you, and cheers for all the light that you bring to this world. Thank you so much, Jenna.
I love you, Rocko. Thank you so much.
Love you too.
Okay.
All right.